romance, February. What do those words invoke in your imagination? For many, that answer would be Valentine's Day. And for more, that answer would be chocolate. Valentine's Day and its associated themes have become synonymous with foods, and more specifically chocolate. But how did that come to be? Where might it go in the future? Or is Valentine's Day doomed to be nothing more than a consumerist holiday?
Welcome to Spoonable Standpoint, the podcast where your hosts Leo and Charlene dig into food culture. In this episode, we will be discussing Valentine's Day candy and its impact on the holiday, as well as on American culture. How come chocolate and candy hearts have been the token candies? Where have they come from? Most importantly, are they necessary?
Although it is one of the most commercialized and popularized holidays in America, its origins are seemingly unknown. The saint it is named after, Saint Valentine, is incredibly mysterious since there have been multiple Saint Valentines. One of them was imprisoned by Claudius II Gothicus for saving Christians from imprisonment. He wrote letters to people outside his cell and signed them, "From your Valentine." Another secretly married couples, so the men couldn't go to war, and he was beheaded. Others had similar stories or were mixed up for the previously mentioned, and vice versa.
To sum it up, there is no answer, and if there was, it would be incredibly confusing. But although it has its basis in the Roman Catholic Church, it has absolutely nothing to do with religious themes. It is a time to shower your loved one in gifts, or so the commercials say. But out of all the gifts, the most popular one would be candy. Chocolate, candy hearts, and more are the cornerstone of Valentine's Day candy. But since they had nothing to do with any of the St. Valentines, why are they such a key part of the holiday?
Chocolate has been seen as an elegant luxury for nearly all of human history. To the Mayans and Aztecs, cacao was incredibly valuable, so much in fact that it could be used as a tax payment. But as conquistadors destroyed their civilizations, cacao began to spread outside of the Americas. By the 17th century, cacao and chocolate were incredibly popular and battled coffee in its popularity. Although it was eaten leisurely, it was also used as a cure to some diseases and indigestion.
Although it was popular, it was mostly reserved for upper-class Europeans and was, frankly, unpalatable. There was barely anything sweet in the cacao drinks, so it was far from chocolate today. The person who made it what it is today is Richard Cadbury. His family already had an established cacao business and created the process to extract cacao butter from cacao, which gave him an idea: solid chocolate. What made this product even more exciting was the packaging. In 1861, he released boxes of candy with roses and cupids on them. From this point on, chocolate will be seen as a more elegant and sensual treat, rather than a disease-curing remedy.
A few decades later, in 1894, Milton Hershey began to experiment with chocolate and caramel, which were incredibly popular. Chocolate was so popular that he switched from being a caramel maker to a chocolate maker. But his next invention would only help the public link love and chocolate, the Hershey Kiss, named after not the kiss of love, but the sound that the machine made when producing the chocolate drops.
But nonetheless, it was very quickly associated with love, especially when Russell Stover and his wife Clara Stover began to sell boxes with chocolate inside them, similar to Cadbury. The difference, though, was that they were heart-shaped instead of just a regular box, which would permanently link chocolate and affection. Quickly, chocolate became a staple of the holiday and many other gift-giving holidays.
But perhaps one of the strangest candies that are given and received are candy hearts. Their story, like chocolate, started out as a cure for minor inconvenience, in this case, sore throats. In 1847, Oliver Chase, a pharmacist, created a medicine that made apothecary lozenges, which were made of medicine and sugar.
Soon he realized that he would make more money if he took out the medicine, and started to produce them as candy. These lozenges became known as wafers, and he started a company called the New England Confectionery Company, also known as Necco. In 1866, his brother, Daniel Chase, created a process to put messages on these wafers. The reason for his idea is different story to story. Some claiming that Union soldiers who wrote letters to their wives sparked the idea. Others suggest that he took the idea from growing popularity of Valentine's Day cards. And others say that he got inspiration from an already existing candy.
But nonetheless, these Necco wafers were created and they were incredibly popular. The company, seeing an opportunity in Valentine's Day, started to make them into heart shapes in 1902. Both chocolate and candy hearts are undoubtedly the staples of Valentine's Day, but will they be around in the future? Or perhaps more importantly, is Valentine's Day a relic of the past?
Something about chocolate and its connection with love that I've come to understand is, it's really like why? Why is chocolate so much connected with the idea of love and Valentine's Day? And I guess, what we talked about before in the history section, where it used to be a commodity, and
Right.
getting it for someone is like, oh, look, they actually like me. They're willing to spend the big bucks on me. I guess like getting them like a ring or something.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that's something that in modern America is kind of taken for granted. Chocolate, since it's now mass produced, no one really thinks twice about it. But it's really interesting to me that for a long time, up until recently, chocolate was a commodity. And now we give it out I would say it's candy, but it literally is candy, so it's given out like candy.
Yeah, no, definitely. Its significance has definitely changed over time, as obviously with many foods. But I think the connection with romance is still there, which is interesting.
Mhm.
Well, for one, it is an aphrodisiac, so there's that. I mean, that's a valid reason, I think. But the fact that we usually get more chocolate, in stores, we usually see a lot more chocolate-based foods near the Valentine's Day season than, say, Halloween.
I think there's a pretty significant contrast between Halloween and Valentine's Day. That's what I find interesting as well. How come giving someone candy on Halloween has a completely different meaning than if you give someone chocolate on Valentine's Day, or even candy in general? There is a bit of a difference from the candy or the chocolate even you get on Halloween and the ones you get on Valentine's Day, right?
Yeah,
you get Reese's and M&Ms on Halloween. I think if someone gave me M&Ms as a Valentine's Day chocolate, I would probably be very confused.
What do you mean? Chocolate is chocolate, Leo. Come on.
I guess so. I guess so. But it's when you think of a Valentine's Day chocolate, it's sensual, it's sexy, but M&M's come on.
Wow. Oh my god.
Not to diss any
controversy with M&M's. Come on.
Well, exactly. They're rebranding themselves as the not sexy candy. I mean, that's for various reasons, but
that's true. But M&M's are still M&M's. Chocolate is
look
chocolate.
Me in my eyes, but look me in my eyes and say M&M's is a sexy candy. It is not.
M&M's is a sexy candy.
You are lying to yourself and to all our listeners.
Okay, but okay, no.
Maybe it's sexy if you feed someone one by one, but even then it's
okay, now
it take way too long. Okay, now we're getting some weird stuff, but I'm just saying.
Okay, back to the episode. I do think you have a good point. When you say that Valentine's Day candy and Halloween candy are completely different, aside from the obvious difference being the meaning and the actual nature of the holiday itself and who participates in it, the chocolate and the candy itself is very, very different. For example, for Halloween, you're going to see a lot more smaller portion sizes, lower quality chocolate, and you're going to see a bunch of other candies mixed in. Now with Valentine's Day, chocolate is the key player. You're going to see candy hearts. You might see some other candies I don't know, Twizzlers, Nerd Ropes making special Valentine's pink and white and red colored candies. But the main focus here is chocolate, and it's good quality chocolate too. I mean, to the average consumer. I'm talking Dove and things like that. So it's really interesting to see that sort of shift in the holiday, which is for someone like me who likes Valentine's Day because of the incredible sales on chocolate the day after. I think Valentine's Day is better in terms of the food that we're actually getting.
And I think I fully agree with you. Halloween is really just meant to get some quick treats. Well, Valentine's Day is more, I got you this chocolate because I love you, or you're,
Yeah,
I don't
exactly.
know. But some, like, okay, chocolate, like that's, it's nice. It's a luxury. It's a commodity. But those candy hearts, oh my, those are neither a luxury nor a commodity. They're so strange. Like, okay, so this is some ASMR for listeners. This is a bowl of candy hearts.
You came prepared. Wow.
Yeah, exactly. I always come prepared, especially for Valentine's Day. And the thing about these candy hearts is, I think they're off-brand, kind of, because you cannot read a single one of these messages. They look like they spawned from hell and have like cursed writing on them. This one has like 3 splotches, and then I think an A and an N.
I mean, they are literally chalk, so I would be very surprised if a lot of the printing fade.
This is what's interesting. They're kind of they shouldn't exist, let's say. They seem chemically impossible. They look like chalk. They smell like chalk. Yep, they taste like chalk. Yet they are 100% made of sugar. That does not seem possible. It's not right, I tell you, it's not right. It's chemically impossible that these have these texture. These are not sensual nor sexy like chocolate. They taste very strange. And every time I bite on them, I feel like my teeth are about to break. So my question is, how come these things have been so popular for Valentine's Day?
Well, I think a lot of it comes from just the fact that they're so iconic and just the tradition of it, as well as, many of the things we've discussed in previous episodes. They're just there because everyone just knows they're there. And I feel like if one day they just disappeared, everyone would be like, whoa, like what happened? Even if they never planned on buying them to begin with. They only really sell them during like the Valentine's Day season, which is only like 2 months in grocery stores. Although I've seen Valentine's Day stuff, during Christmas, but
I have to disagree with you on a few things. First off, I think if they disappeared, no one would care. And I'll tell you why. I have not thought of these hearts until maybe 2 days ago when I saw them in the living room. That was it. I do not think about them ever. Not even like a random like shower thought like, wow, what happens if they still live? Like, no, I do not think about them. They don't like stick in anyone's memory unless it's like, it's like a cute moment where it's like, oh, he gave me a chocolate heart that says I love you, and then he asked me to marry, something like that. But it's like, even then it's like, really, with a candy heart? Okay. So I think if they went away, people wouldn't really care. Maybe some people would. They'll get over it because they sell like 90 other things that taste exactly like it, like Pez.
Exactly.
I think if they went away, I wouldn't.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't either. Actually, no, the candy itself isn't really what is being impacted here. I think it's the cultural impact that it's being impacted. Like, I don't know why, but like I've seen Valentine's Day decor, Valentine's Day, whatever, and a lot of them are conversation hearts, like conversation heart garlands, conversation heart plushies, like that. Just the impact on the culture is what would be shocking, not because the candy tastes good. It absolutely does not. And if you do think they're good, you are lying. So yes, I agree. I wouldn't care. And I feel like people that actually for some reason do like them would get over it, because obviously there's so many better options. But I think their cultural impact is what was make people care, not necessarily like the flavor, its chemical incorrectness, etc.
Yeah, like some of them, if they're done right, if they're not splotched on, they can actually be kind of cute. They're called conversation hearts. They're pretty bad conversations. So I don't know about that. But I think you're right. There's definitely like a culture to it. Whenever you think of the Valentine's Day candy hearts, it's still something to bond over with someone. Like, oh my god, remember when we used to get those and they were terrible? Oh, I know, they were so bad. Maybe
Yeah,
it's that.
exactly. Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that.
And I think another important thing to bring up about Valentine's Day and its candy is those like kids kits for Valentine's Day. I don't
Yes.
know about
Oh my
you,
God.
but when I was in elementary school, my mom used to make me sit down for maybe like 2 hours. What she was like, "Got here 2 hours." It took me 2 hours to do it, but we would get like these like big kits, maybe like 25 cards, 50 cards or something, and they'd be like to blah blah from Leo, Happy Valentine's Day, and you would take a piece of tape and put a piece of like candy on it, like M&Ms, whatever, and then and you would give them out. Now that we are older than elementary school aged, it's strange, but it's also kind of sweet. And I feel like something like that needs to be done for people who are older because I don't know, it was really fun to kind of have that Valentine's Day and be able to get candy, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it did sound very nice, and I only experienced it a few times because of the schools I went to. But the first time I remember very clearly, the first time it happened, I was like, "What is this?" Because I had no clue that people did this, and I didn't really know the significance of Valentine's Day either. But I do agree that now, that now that we're older and can reflect on this, I do agree that this is, it's pretty sweet. And yeah, no, I definitely agree that, this could be something done for older, past elementary school, because the significance is still there. Now, I don't know how that would impact its cultural significance outside of, a school or like a group environment.
So, what kind of marketing have you seen for Valentine's Day candy? Because I've seen some pretty wacky and wild stuff.
I mean, I don't know if it's advertised on TV. I do not watch TV, but I don't think it would be. That would be. I think that would be pretty weird if it was. But in stores, I've seen a lot, especially in like drugstores, like Walgreens, Duane Reade. I've seen like entire shelves dedicated to Valentine's Day candy, Valentine's Day gifts, plushies, whatever. And it would just be all an entire aisle of pink and red and white. It was surreal almost seeing how much the store transformed just because of the color scheme.
Well, yeah, I completely agree. Kind of looks like a gender reveal party for a girl gone wrong when you walk in like early February. But I feel like the way they brand the chocolate and is all the candy is so strange. They'll put like so much money and effort into like changing the shape of some chocolate, like a Reese's peanut butter cup. And I find that so strange because I really wonder how much money do those companies make off of just Valentine's Day? It has to be a lot. It has to be an absurd amount if you're going to put all the energy into making like heart-shaped Reese's or whatever.
Exactly.
And I think that's what's so strange about Valentine's Day. Like Halloween is the only one that's kind of similar to it. But every other major holiday is like religious based pretty much. But with Valentine's Day, it did have a religious base, but now it's completely consumerized. And maybe Halloween's the other one. But even then, there's like some other element to it where it's like you get to like dress up, For Valentine's Day, it's really just like, it's just candy.
Yeah, it's just, oh, man. To prevent this episode from being an hour long, I'm so on board. I think it's honestly so unfair and so bad of companies to commercialize it that much. Like outside of the meaning of love or whatever, like that's one thing to commercialize something, like that. But I think a lot of the time, Valentine's Day is obligatory. There's like no actual reason to celebrate it.
Yeah.
I mean, like, why do you need to give someone chocolate on a specific day to show them that you care about them? Like, why?
You don't.
Exactly.
You can do it every other day.
You literally do not. You can do it every other day. And it's so interesting because the average spending on Valentine's Day is $134 per person.
Jeez.
$134. Now, chocolate and jewelry are the most common things that are being spent money on. And again, both those companies are spending so much money, even more money, to, you know, make something heart-shaped. But I think it's cruel almost how they want to capitalize off of a holiday that's just about, you know, love.
Yeah. Yeah, it's it's kind of like putting a price on love.
Exactly. It
It's a
makes it
little bit messed up.
obligatory. Exactly,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I find that, yeah, I completely agree. It is so strange to have to put a value on love and to market love. And I find it like every single Valentine's Day, there's always like a bunch of single people who are like so sad. And I'm sure
Yeah.
anyone who is single, it brings them down. Because if you get ads for like the only way to show someone you love them, and it's just like, I don't know. It's pretty messed up. Any
It
aspect of
is.
it, I think, is messed up. Either you're putting a price on love, either you're bullying single people, or I don't know.
Yeah, no,
uh,
definitely. Yeah. But I'm also like, "Ugh," when I see Valentine's Day ads because I'm like, oh, why are you consumerizing this? Why are you making it so obligatory for people to do something that is supposed to be out of love, but now is out of like, oh, they're gonna be mad at me if I don't do this. Oh, I should do this because everyone else is doing this. You know, it's not as much about, you know, spending time with loved ones. I mean, it definitely is, but a big part of it is, you know, a gift, a Valentine's Day gift, and that's, I don't know, that's just shocking to me. But at the same time, not really.
yeah. I think Valentine's Day, my opinion, is the greatest triumph of capitalism. Because somehow all these companies have ingrained to everyone's minds that you need to do something for Valentine's Day. And that thing is buying their
Exactly.
product. Where
Exactly.
literally, if everyone decides, hey, let's not do that, we could destroy this. It takes like one day to get rid of a holiday because it's not religious based. And it kind of is, but no one's going to church for Valentine's Day, you know?
Exactly.
So we can get rid of it easily, yet we don't.
Exactly.
And I
Yeah.
think that's what's so interesting. This is kind of depressing, but all great civilizations collapse. And probably the world will collapse at one point. Either, I don't know, something. This is getting kind of dark. But I have a point here. If historians look back on our civilization and they see we celebrated Valentine's Day, a day that was completely commercialized, I think it would be a very interesting...
We'd look pretty dumb.
Yeah, we look pretty dumb. But I think that's what's so powerful. I guess that's what's so important about Valentine's Day. The fact that it's really just a memento of being able to understand how consumerism and capitalism really works.
Exactly, because oh, now all of a sudden you don't get your partner a gift. Oh no, now you look like a bad significant other or a bad friend even.
Exactly.
So yeah. So now surveys have also shown that less and less people are participating in Valentine's Day. It's still a pretty high number, but less people are participating in it. Maybe they are starting to realize how much of it is commercialization. And also that's good because a lot of the candy and like the chocolate and like the Valentine's gifts are very unethically sourced from like the big chocolate companies too, like Lindt and Mars and etc.
And I think the fact that they're so unethically sourced makes Valentine's even more depressing because
Exactly.
you know you're being tricked by companies and those companies are exploiting workers. So I guess moral of the story here is if you celebrate Valentine's Day, you're exploiting people.
No.
I'm not going to criminalize the holiday, but I think something that we all need to reflect on is, you know, is it worth it? And I think for a lot of people, that answer would be no. It's not worth it. It's not worth it to... Some people probably yes. There is a big significance in being able to give someone a gift, even if that's like chocolate. Because who doesn't love chocolate? Like, no one in the world can look me in the eyes and say they don't like chocolate. And if they can, there's no candy that they can say no to, because everyone likes some kind of candy. Guess what? That candy company is selling something Valentine's Day related. So
they're making extra molds. They're making extra heart molds just for the sake of
exactly
a single day holiday.
And none of the hearts are even anatomically correct. So it's like, hey.
Not gonna lie, if I see an anatomically correct heart, like detailed and everything, I'd be very impressed. Very impressed.
Exactly.
Like
These companies these companies need to realize STEM is becoming the future.
Yes.
So they need
yes.
to invest
They
in
need
STEM.
to step up. Step up, guys. Come on. Who's making all these molds? Designers, engineers.
Yeah. But I think that could be something really cool to do. If they kind of like rebrand Valentine's Day, or not like rebrand it where it's like, not about love anymore, but make it a little bit more like, you know, like some like anatomically correct hearts and stuff. I think that could be a cool gimmick. That could land you a lot of money, you know? That if that goes viral on social media, you just made $1 billion easily. Exactly. If anyone has this idea, you got to pay to Leo and Charlene. You got to pay us 10% of your revenue. We want royalties, damn it. I bet that's already a product though.
Oh my god! I literally searched up anatomically correct, and chocolate heart is like the first thing. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. It is a thing.
It is a thing.
It's like $35. Oh, it's worth £1. Never mind.
But it's not like really that detailed either. It's like
yeah, and they're not even sold by like big companies. So I think if big companies started to do it, it could be cool.
Exactly, and like the inside is like
it could be like solid. Strawberry.
Yeah, strawberry.
So it's like red.
I just saw that one. Yeah, or it's like the inside is either solid or like hollow. I want to see all the valves. I want to see the ventricles. I want to see the atrium. I want to see everything. I want to see the main.
I want to see the left atrium. Where is it?
Yeah, exactly. I want it to be indistinguishable from a human heart, so that eating it feels wrong. No, I'm kidding.
I want a surgeon to feel like they're in a dream when they go to a drugstore. They go, wait, am I in the surgery room? That's a anatomically correct heart. That's what I want. And I'm kind of angry that that's not happening right now.
Yeah, aside from that, where do you think Valentine's Day will go in the future? Like, I know we talked about this a little, but where do you think it'll go?
I think, in my humble opinion, that Valentine's Day is going to change. I think recently there's been a lot more emphasis on other kinds of relationships other than romantical ones. And I think very soon we'll start to see a change from like, get this for your loved one, be like, get this for the people you love, not just like, you know,
right. Yeah.
Get it for your friends and stuff. And I think we've already, I've already started to see it. You see a lot more of like Valentine's Day and stuff.
Yes.
So
Leslie Knope would be so happy right now.
Parks and Rec reference and Spoonie standpoint. Who would have thunk it? But that's where I think it. What about you? What do you think?
I think there will definitely be a divide. I think as time goes on and people get a lot more like progressive about this kind of thing, wake up and realize that we're celebrating people's love for each other through consumerism alone, basically, while buying things that are constantly exploiting workers. I think we need a little bit of a rebrand here. But of course, there's going to be people, embracing the traditional. Which I mean, I can understand, but I think as time goes on, inevitably, there's going to be a lot of change happening in this space.
So, as we learned in the history, one of the big products that Cadbury had was their boxes. The boxes would last a pretty long time. They're actually still, up for auction stuff. Very expensive though. And the idea was that you eat the chocolate that's in the box. You keep the box, and you can put like love letters and stuff inside of it. And it was cute. I think if Cadbury does that again, or not even Cadbury, any other company does that, where they make like pretty high quality boxes, where you can take into the store in, I think they would be bought by people who want to put like love letters, or people who need some containers. And I think that could be a really cute revival instead of a rebrand.
It could, but I would argue that it's already happening. Ferrero boxes, it's like the one thing that people have no use for. Actually, I feel like they're like thin and they're pretty large, so they could store some paper sometimes. But I feel like it's like the one thing that people feel so bad for throwing out because they're decent quality, but also have no use for, like Ferrero boxes. And I know it's outside of Valentine's Day, but I've seen a lot, like in like this year especially, I've seen a lot of like the heart-shaped chocolate boxes. Wow, they're like high quality. They're like 3D with all paint, with cloth roses on it, fabric designs made out of velvet. Like they are fancy. So I feel like people would feel even worse about throwing those out. So I don't think that there's a good chance that it's happening already.
I think we just have to wait it out. It's like
Yeah.
everything. Traditions change over time. I bet like 10 years ago, there was something about Valentine's Day that was different than it is now. We really have to wait it out and see what happens in the future.
Thank you for tuning into this week's episode of Spoonable Standpoint. If there's something you want us to talk about, put it in the question we post on Spotify under our Season 2 trailer or on our website. Make sure to follow us on Instagram at spoonable_standpoint for bonus content and the link to our website. If you like this episode, don't forget to share it. We release a new episode every other Friday and we hope to see you there.